time tonight. Team Secret, Saigon Buffalo, two juggernauts take each other on to decide who will be the ones to bring home the glory. Let's get into it, you two. Quincy, Marby, I wouldn't want to have anyone else with me to see how this one plays out. Quincy, I'm going to go to you first. What do you think of these drafts?
I don't hate the cannon as much as it does actually. Of course, the exhaust kind of denies it a little bit, and it will not be up for every starting match, so that will come out by the side of Hero. But I think against something like a Nautilus, it's actually a very good tool, because the Nautilus cannot just easily go in. Otherwise, he would just die within the aftermath of the AoE damage that's coming out from the cannon. And I think the pick is not that terrible. Also, sent into Nautilus is also a very good answer, because that also just makes Taki's life so much harder. Gonna say though, on another note, Husband on Gwen is a pick I really like. They bailed on the fact that there won't be a Jax counter pick by side of Hero, and it didn't happen. So I think laning wise, Saigon Buffalo's very fine here.
Oh, there it is. They passed the Rebel Fox set test as they flash forward at level 1. Unfortunately, they do not pass the Saigon Buffalo test. And I want to point out something amazing in this play, but it doesn't really matter right now because it's looking like a double kill. You're immediately off the blocks for the Jinx. They take it down. I have something to point out, but I'll do it on the replay. Oh my word.
Exhaust Giga broken. That's basically it. It's exhaustive coming out from there. Shogun able to drop that on Eddie and immediately neuters the entirety of this player coming out from Team Secret.
Again. We play level 2 hitting up, Flash level 2. Facepack actually hits onto 2 people, but Exhaust is such a good summoner spell, right? And you just see Eddie has to run for the hills. It's really an awkward fight where they cannot really return fire as the range is also lower than the one of the Jinx, and the Haymaker doesn't really do much at that point anyway for the side of Shuhao, and like this, it's will just be 2 easy kills for the side of Shogun. It's not just a great exhaust at the series, it's also a very good ad for Jinx in general.
There is one other thing. They had that little level 1 skirmish where they tried to chunk out Eddie, and Taki didn't auto-attack. And I was going, why isn't he auto-attacking? Why isn't he auto-attacking? It's so that Glacial wasn't on cooldown. Glacial was up for that second skirmish, even though it was less than 7 seconds later. Now Hero is in trouble not the damage. He's up, he's down, and that's a kill for Husman. I just want to point it out. Taki, so smart, saving that Glacial Augment. He just didn't auto-attack, and then 5 seconds later, the real play happens.
It's this bot lane, this Lucian, kind of, you pick it to really try and bully this early lane, and now you've put yourself in a pretty impressive hole, and BJ getting off to a fantastic start on the Xin Zhao as well. Both side lanes of the map off to a pretty comfortable start from SGB. This is looking clean and collected for this final game, and BJ never went anywhere. It's a Shin. but Hasmed decides to show pity.
Eddie getting chunked out. Ooh, boy, he just about survives, but now Zuhao's on the run. Taki's going to have that hook in just a few seconds, probably. Not quite coming up in time. They do have to play around it. Penguin does have the spell shield, so he's not going to be the target, but look how fearsome Shogun is.
And what a demonstration of power, but they knew Penguin was right there, but they really just showed him, I don't really care that you're there, we can just win the 2v3 anyway, because there were so much damage taken initially in the first place by the side of Eddie, and the dive was very ill prepared as the wave was way too thin to really go for anything with the Nocturne, and like this, it was just pretty doomed for the side of Team Secret. Also, Hero in the top lane, yet again suffering from all this gank pressure coming out from BJ and the wave state. By now it will be fine for him again, and he is actually ahead in CS as it is a ranged versus melee matchup, but overall, very good start by side of Saigon Buffalo. And the one player we look out to carry is actually Artifact on the Victor, and he's a Victor in the early game, also struggling against the Vex right now, and it's looking very, very grim for Team Secret if they do not get to scale, which they, of course, had a chance to in the other games.
Yeah, there's a reason why everybody sort of cringed when Victor got locked in. It's because Artifact has been such a crucial part of their early games, and being locked into this mid lane on this Victor, not being able to really push and move around and affect this early game, really hampers Team Secret's success. And now he's just going to sit there, and he could definitely be a big late game threat, but with the start SGB has had, if they can keep up the snowball, and they are pretty good at keeping their snowball and their early game plans, running their scripts, they might get to a position where it does not matter that there's an artifact, that artifact's on Victor. He's just gonna fall down.
I mean, Marby, after this series, I don't know how you can count Artifact out. This man is a miracle worker. He has been touched by a higher power. Because I don't think he should have been able to get them to Game 5, but yet here we are. So you can have your analysis. I prefer the Magic.
I tried Magic once and it wound up making me a V5 fan, and that didn't work out. So.
It is a fair point, actually, because, I mean, we are only in this position in the first place because Artifact and Eddie did pull off some magic in Game 2 and 4, respectively. And, I mean, now we're here, and it could have been a 3-0, in that case, weird to say 4-0 for Saigon Buffalo, but it isn't. We are here in the Game 5, MSI on the line, and it's a very tough task for both teams, of course. And as Coach Tim pointed out, the AD carries, especially being very, very young, he will see maybe another skirmish, but Taki gets up cleanly. And, Saigon Buffalo knows. I mean, this series should have been in the back earlier. Foggy called it out initially that he will 3-0 Team Secret. Now he looks a bit like a clown in that regard. And him, of
as
course,
long as he gets the win.
Game point is scary. Yeah, as long as he gets the win, he's probably fine with it. But right now, he kind of looks like a clown somehow.
Yeah, look, if you're 4-1, the math works out as a 3-0 sort of.
Yeah, you reduce it down. Makes total sense. But what is not making a lot of sense is how far ahead Shogun is in this bottom lane. We, of course, know how it's happened, but the fact that Illusion set lane is just completely unable to find any sort of priority, any sort of threat after the disastrous early game, that feels real bad for Team Secret.
Sitting on an extra pickaxe plus boots, that's just pure, it's just absolute control. Summoners have come back up, but that also means, yeah, it's just an exhaust, so you probably are just scared of making a similar play without some sort of jungle assistance, or at least someone who can bring a secondary damage source. Because yeah, if they try that again and the exhaust just drops, and it's gonna feel like a lot like a repeat of last time. And with no aggression coming up from the spot lane, you're kind of playing without a bot lane.
And this will likely set into the Rift Herald here. Penguin is of course around, but you don't just flash into to go for a steal there or anything, especially not with top lane. Having a very unfortunate base timing for that. Husband was just around it. Hero had to base a few seconds earlier to get his next shopping path completed with getting the Sorcerer's boost ready for him. And with that, it's just Saigon Buffalo having control over the whole map right now. Even Foggy is winning lane this time, and that is something we rarely see, especially if he plays against Artifact, the best mid lane of the regular split.
Yeah, and it's Froggy's Vex again. I just wanted to bring it up because we know how good he is on this champion. He's got it once this series already, and he had an amazing performance. It would be almost poetic if a pop off from Froggy on the Vex is what gets them to MSI. Hero though needs to get to his tower. He's okay.
But is Binjay okay?
Ooh.
Should
don't think he's he's not going to let it rip into Hazmed.
Could have gone for a big flash ultimate. Probably gets the kill. Probably dies as well. So it's probably not worth it. But you know, yeah. I have to say, I think Froggy, low key, has actually been winning pretty much every lane this series. Maybe not the LeBlanc game, but in terms of just CS, he's been finding leads just naturally.
Hello? They've ripped out the Maelstrom. They've got the paranoia. Gwen might be immune, but Nocturne's in her nightmares.
And Hazmed trying to get out of the ghost, but it was absolutely futile. He was just dying down to the side of paranoia, and Sessing Maelstrom was kind of getting caught up by the Maelstrom in lane already, and that with the stun coming out, him trying to escape not towards the turret but towards the river was really what spelled his demise, and bot lane might just also go for a play. Herald is being dropped.
They're under the tower. There it is. Taki setting it up. There's Chompers there as well. A big haymaker will come out, but Zhuhao's got 4 to deal with. There's no hope there. The rocket will land and set. He's set back to the pit.
And what's actually quite impressive on the top side play is Hero didn't even actually have to use the flash to get on top of it. Meanwhile, it's post blown. How did that land?
Taki baby finds a hook out of nowhere. That's 2 towers.
And just again, really recalling by the side of Eddie, also putting both Summoners in this only. This is an absolute disaster. 2 also falling down. Saigon Buffalo completely running away with the game right now. They're also on the more scaling bot lane as well. This is definitely not something that Eddie wants for themselves. Defend the Herald push, okay, that's something that you maybe can try to do, but going for that greedy recall is not something that you should do in a game 5 like that.
Consolation prizes, they're going to be able to grab that dragon thanks to the amount of damage that was taken, but from here, it starts off okay. You see Zuhao, he's like, alright, I'm pretty much sacrificing myself, run away, have fun. But yeah, it's a lazy recall from Eddie, who just doesn't, it's not even actually recalling. He's just like waiting for the wave to crash, not expecting Taki to just predict the hook, predict the flash rather, and it's a nice cleanup. Lots of damage taken, but I don't care. Why would you care? You get all that for a pitiful ocean drake? Useless drake. Awful.
It's the third Infernal Drake of the series. Just by the way, 5 drakes in the game, but we get the fieriest one 3 times. Maybe it's just appropriate for our region. This
Appropriate
hot
for game
salt.
5 for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But a 4K gold lead at 12 minutes for SGB. A Lucian set lane being forced to swap top. It's a disaster, guys.
And Saigon Buffalo also matching the swap, so it actually won't end up mattering much for them anyway, and not really the result they really wanted on the side of Team Secret. And this bot lane will just keep getting leads and keep just inflating it, because it is just easier to do that if you are on a pick like the Jinx. You can easily snowball with it. It's 4-0 she is on, and platings are still up, and this gold lead might just increase even further.
Oh, the rocket comes out through the uprights. They do manage to dance around that one. That should turn off the dive for now, but we go down to the bottom lane where a Maelstrom has been unleashed, but now Hero has some needles to dodge. The flash will get him out of there, but Husman is fearsome.
Yeah, Husman's low-key found himself a full mythic item just ahead of Hero, and that's just so much power that Hero can't match in the 1v1. And it's already a 1v1 I would argue favors Gwen in an all-in type situation, provided if Hero isn't far enough to just burst them out instantly. Which they are definitely not. They've done okay for themselves, but a little bit of attention up there has put them in a situation where they can't just crush the Gwen. And it just means Gwen gets to sit happy, scale slowly into that late game position, while the rest of the match is giga stomps Team Secret.
Zuhao, once again, caught under tower. He does have friends around, but I don't think SGB cared. They're just going to try and come in here, take down the Steph, who lands a massive face breaker. He has a haymaker to buy himself some time, but he doesn't get the chance to actually press it. And now Froggy's landed an ultimate. In they go. They get that kill. Can they get the reset onto the Lucian? Of course they can. Froggy once again diving in. It's a double kill for him. It's one for the Jinx as well. Now Artifact moving on in, wants to rebuild the glorious evolution. Will take down Shogun just about. It's a shutdown for him, 3 for 4. I think Team Secret are fairly happy there.
Yeah, and that's a lot of gold funneled into Artifact. It's the first move he really makes in this game, and he picks up a big number of kills for himself. He's going to catapult himself to a pretty comfy lead. But it starts off, and the engage from Team Secret just feels a little bit slow. If they were able to really follow up on that from Zuhao, it's also just everything's down. There's no paranoia, there's no cannon ultimate. That could have been huge, but they just sort of funnel in, and the only one who has any damage to put out is Artifact, and because he can, he makes it work.
I just want to look at how many takedowns he got. It's actually just the 2, so it's not the end of the world in that regard, because he didn't get a single assist, as I think Taki died before Artifact was even really getting towards the fight, and the same applies to Hasmet. And that, of course, a good fight for side of Team Secret, with a little bit of an overdive maybe from Saigon Buffalo. It looked cool, but ultimately you don't want to trade 3 for 4 if you are very much ahead in the game. And maybe they could play it a little bit cleaner and actually get out before Artifact arrived there. But the way Shogun positioned, I think that wasn't really possible. Yet again, play looks nice, but not something that we want to have again.
On the Husman, they're going to go under the tower as well. They reel him in with the facebreaker. Penguin will get the kill, flash out to safety.
Traded across map for the tower on the top side, and another Rift Herald to boot. So it's gonna be a bit of a trade up for the side of SGB overall, depending on how they can use this Herald. Immediate advantage to the Team Secret getting the kill on top of this tower. That's gonna be picked up. Yeah, we got fish on the brain for some reason. we've got a Rift Herald, we've got a fairly low mid turret, and a Dragon in 30 seconds. That can be a big swing for SGB to just regain control over this map.
Gotta say though, with Team Secret trading down these objectives but still getting kills onto Penguin, especially Penguin unlocked yet again is a very huge backline threat, and this is of course something that really is Team Secret's win control together with the Cannon getting a good backline nexus, and those trades, I think they're overall very fine for Team Secret, especially if you are down like 4k gold already. If you trade somewhat even and get some key member of your team fight a few kills, it's definitely worth it.
So I want to get both of your opinion on this, but I think Crincy, you'll have a good bit of insight. Is it actually worth still going Stridebreaker here on Nocturne? I feel like in this game, if you can just set yourself up as a thermonuclear missile with like lethality, I think if you one-shot Shogun and trade 1-for-1 every fight, you're actually in a good position. And I don't know if you can do that with Stridebreaker.
Not that, but you can of course use a Stridebreaker slow to really get guaranteed fear off, and of course that also helps facilitate what Hero tries to do in this game. Getting his narrator up, but he will see the fight.
There's a hook going in. Set has to put up the big shield. Juhao will survive for now, but has his Zinzao to deal with. Does manage to get away. Some needles whipping across. Hero slowed down, but there's still the slicing Malsham. In goes Froggy. He hits it. He goes gold. And now SGB have to find a way out of this one. They're doing so much damage. And look at the Gwen as they just get the kills. Artifact, last man standing. Last man to fall.
It's secured. Froggy matches the stopwatch from Hero, denies the ultimate, and that means he wants those expire. Massive fear, massive damage set up for the side of SGB. They can clean up this tower. They just propel their gold lead even further. It's no real big objective to go after. Dragon had already been taken, but that's huge. This is so firmly in control. So we're going to see here. Yeah, we're going to see right here.
Yeah, Jinx actually faced it by the Haymaker, and here we see what the fight plays out. Shadow Surge coming in, now the Hello Mist from Hazmat denies a lot of damage that would return on the side of Team Secret, and it's just so much AoE damage coming up from the needlework, and of course what Vex can bring with hitting multiple Mistral Bolt there, and Team Secret just evaporates 5-0 in this skirmish, and it wasn't even with Shogun really doing much in it.
Oh my word. That was mental amounts of damage. Team Secret now are 7,000 gold down. And Saigon Buffalo, they might already be looking at hotels.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. They're feeling very comfortable in this game. Don't want to count Team Secret out just yet. Artifacts slowly scaling up. Has that Ludens now complete, working towards that. I can only presume is Azonia's judging by the stop off at the Fiendish Codex. Feels just a little bit wary of the burst, but it's all coming up SGB right now. It's still only 19 minutes, no Baron to play for, but their position is great that they could turn on it as soon as it spawns.
Hero is still in the side and collecting the objective bounty of getting the T2 turret there, but this is just now Team Secret being very prone to getting dove here because the cannon wouldn't be there to defend it.
Don't die for this tower. Do not die for this tower, Team Secret. This is not a very valuable structure to you. Thankfully, there is no wave. They do manage to clear it out, so they will hold it regardless. So the last, 20 seconds have been pretty good for Team Secret. And that's how we've got to play this. You've got to play in 20-second increments. You can't go back in time and fix the early game. All you can do is try and play it out. You're in a game 5. Play for your careers, mate. Play for your hearts.
So a little bit unfortunate, and I'm not sure if it's because it was a blue ward that made it happen, but there was a very nice teleport ward angle that Hero could have gone for, and I feel like they could have tried to take that, but it's he's just gonna settle. Yeah, he just settles for that plate for that tower gold, gets that objective bounty back for his team, and it's still a huge lead they have to overcome, but if they can just sort of poke someone and get any sort of deep ward down, something to set up the cannon, maybe they can turn it around for Team Secret.
And I think it was actually the final decision for Hero to go for this tier 2 turret, because with Artifact being a wand, they can just easily clear those waves out without Baron really being a topic so far, because it has just now spawned that you don't want to do a 20-minute Baron. It was actually something that Team Secret still could defend, and that it brings at least some gold back into the pockets of Team Secret, and the gold lead, of course, now is still 6k, but Saigon Buffalo still needs to press onto it and to just keep extending it. Otherwise, I really wouldn't be convinced by this team. And with the recall now coming up, I wonder where they're really going for it now. Next wake would spawn in about 1 minute, and this should, of course, be something that Saigon Buffalo looks out for, because right now, if a fair 5v5 fight happens, it will be theirs, unless Hero makes an absolute miracle.
Look at that gold lead in bot lane. At almost 4k in the 80 carries, that's an entire Infinity Edge and boots. It's look, they couldn't really threaten Baron at that 20-minute mark, sure, but now they have an Infinity Edge. I think they could probably put a decent mark on it if Team Secret get caught napping.
I feel like this game, Hero is so important. He has to find a flank. This has to be miracles. B&J, the Crescent Guard buys him a lot of time. In they go. There's the cannon ult use. He goes gold as well. It's just buying time at the moment as they throw in a culling, but Gwen is immune. And SGB barely take any damage. They just get the dragon.
They get the dragon for free. But with B&J being caught, like the Crescent Guard alone was basically enough to just nullify the slicing Meltzer coming out. Xin Zhao just way too tanky, and you want these 5-man cannon ultimates, not just to get maybe a catch or two. That could of course work if you get Shogun in, but not onto BJ, he's just way too tanky. And even if you would end up getting him, you probably still lose the Drake, because without the slicing Maelstrom, we really cannot teamfight even in the 5v4.
Yeah, this is just an easy road to enter Baron. You've lost your Paranoia, you've lost your slicing Maelstrom and the flash on cannon besides, so there's not even a culling to work with. It's just, you can't really approach and poke off and threaten SGB at all on this Baron. It's just, it should just be a done deal outside of a flash steal from Penguin.
But he could flash steal, and you don't want to flip the game right here. Oh, that's not up last month.
He has to go. And he does it! He does it! In game 5! They've given them a chance!
What? I just told you that's the only thing he has left! Why would you let them? Buffalo!
So dirty.
Penguin!
You could do a damage up, you could turn for the fight, but you end up flipping the game over it. You are so far ahead that you just give him that one small chance he had. It kind of reminds me of game 2 where they had this Infernal Soul Drake steal coming out, and here, yeah. It's just pretty dumb, right? I mean, just flash in, get the smite down, coin flip it all, and 50-50 is your chance, and that's way too much that Team Secret actually deserves to have. And like this, small chance for them to get back into this game. Also, Objective Bounty definitely helping them. And Saigon Buffalo just did themselves a huge misfavor.
It's back to 5k, and it was at like 7 earlier, so it's a little bit they're coming back a little bit at a time, and it shouldn't be the most impactful thing in the world. Baron can be cleaned by the tanks.
Again, Marby, you're doing analysis, and I know it's your job, but the magic. And imagine the morale boost that Team Secret just got. That's going to be like a shot in the arm. Imagine you're sitting in a game 5. The early game is disastrous. You're getting in your own head. You know it's all gone wrong. But then Penguin breaks the ice, gets a steal, and suddenly you can see Busan again. You can see that last train once more.
Don't get on the train. Don't take the train.
But then you don't get to go to MSI, you have to go on the train. Or you have to go by plane.
Plane is fine. Don't take the trains, not to Busan. But besides, yeah, there's still the pressure on the map for SGB. They can pretty comfortably push into these waves. It just stalls out this tower, this siege, for a little bit longer, because their wave clears slows right down. Artifact gets to keep kicking at maximum potential. And now, once again, it gives Team Secret that little bit of time for the ultimates to come back up and hunt for a decent flank, hunt for a decent cannon ult that doesn't go straight into a Crescent Guard and a Hallowed Mist. Just something else. They need a win that actually nets them a tangible gold advantage rather than just a quick steal.
It definitely is just more of a stabilizing Baron for the side of Team Secret, right? I mean, it's just them farming a little bit next to Saigon Buffalo, which they otherwise wouldn't really have a chance to. Just them winning some minutes to get their comp back, to be in a position where they could maybe make up for the huge AD carry difference they have right now in the gold department, where we can see it's Sugar basically has 1.5 times the gold that Eddie has under Lucian right now. It's
basically the whole lane.
It's a full item difference, yeah, as we pointed out earlier. And just now, next Infernal Drake will be up in a bit more than a minute. And it would be a potential soul for Saigon Buffalo. They are still leading on the map control, but the Scuttle is done for side of Team Secret. There's a little chance for them to get into that. And Gun is also saying, with objective bounties being a thing, those stabilizing barons are mattering more than they used to be in years before.
The other thing as well, when we saw the gold there, yes, Shogun is miles ahead of everyone. No question. But in terms of everyone else, Artifact is on pace. He's not as fed as Shogun. Fine. But the other 4 members of SGB still need to be scared of this Victor. And I'm not saying they're favored. I'm not saying they're back in it. But if anyone in this series is going to find the miracle, it's got to be Artifact, right?
You feel like it. The thing is, it just does come down to that range that Shogun can have. It can keep at an edge. But that said, it's true. If they find Shogun, if they remove this Jinx, that is the entirety of the gold lead gone. Besides, maybe about 500 on Tataki.
In they go. They're going to try and get this fight. How did they kill him? They killed Shogun, but they lost a lot of health to do it. Can they actually surf out the rest of this fight?
Artifact?
I don't know so far. It's getting really close. Husband is going to be a huge problem. Eddie has left the building. Artifact has gone down. And Team Secret, they did their absolute best. But in the end, the dragon is claimed. The soul is secured. And Saigon Buffalo take another step towards a win.
I applaud them for trying and actually getting Shogun.
Yeah.
And they immediately pop it, but they used basically every ability they had in their arsenal to really get him. And at the end of the day, Husband is still pretty fat on the Gwen, and also Forky is far from being irrelevant in this game. And with Eddie can just basically watch from the short resolution that he is, that how basically every member around him is falling, and with 2 members being alive on Saigon Buffalo, it's still Infernal Soul for them. Good try by the side of Team Secret, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough.
They put it all on the line, and it came out pretty effective for the most part. But then you just sort of saw Beanjay and Hasmet at the end there. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see a replay right here. Culling expended early from Eddie, and he cannot actually influence this next part of the fight at all. The stopwatches, the just tankiness from Hasmet and Beanjay with their ultimate and how it missed respectively. They just survived the whole thing, and the health leads, it gets down to that 2v2, and there's no hope for Artifact from there.
And we just see the power of the Xin Zhao ult and the Gwen W. This is something we've talked about all split. But what is Eddie meant to do? He just can't play at the correct range.
You can only use the culling, basically, and even the culling is not doing anything against the Hell of Mist, so he's kind of screwed in that position, right? He cannot really do anything. The best thing maybe he could do is like going for a suicide mission into the Gwen and maybe trade 1-for-1. But even that is, of course, far from ideal if you're the AD carry. Like, you are the most staple damage source output of your team, and that shouldn't be your job unless, of course, the Gwen is like 10-0 or something, which she isn't. She's not even the main threat compared to what the Jinx and the Vex bring to the table. And with that, Saigon Buffalo, now onto the Baron. Maybe Penguin goes for the play again. He has Flash and Paranoia up, so this time there are 2 ways to get in from him, and he only needs 1.
Yeah, I think SGB might have learnt their lesson, and they'll try and find the fight first. And with Eddie getting caught out, he is just gone. Froggy has a reset as well if he wants to use it, and of course he does. He finds the double. The 3rd Shadow Surge will miss, but surely 2 kills is more than enough.
It is. And it will be the Baron for them now, surely. I mean, Penguin is down his ultimate. He could technically go for the same play again, but I really want Saigon Buffalo to zone him away from the pit, and this time they actually do it cleanly. Yeah, that Baron is gone.
Yeah, if you look at the damage on the 2-man, they can send 3 to just fight.
They can't even kill Husband. He goes gold. He's got more time. He gets another snip, and he cuts them apart. SGB confirm the ace. And I think we know who our rep is going to be.
6 seconds on Eddie. I don't think you can do enough with just him and Hero. This should be a simple, clean finish from the side of SGB. They have done it. They were the last representative from Vietnam at MSI, and they're going to be it again.
They're gonna be it again, and I, as a European, I'm a little bit afraid for the side of G2 right there. As Saigon Buffalo,
they're going for the end. They're going for the end. It is 3,500 kilometers to Busan, and Saigon are coming. Watch out, T1. Watch out, G2. Watch out, world. Vietnam is